Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
All right, all right. The legendary DJ Spice is in the room.
What's the word? What's the word, family?
I did, things since cool. Doing the best that we could in the situation that we have. How's
See how
things
the
with you?
family, everybody good?
Everybody's great. Thank God.
First and foremost,
Definitely. How's things on your side, Spice?
yo, everything is blessed, man. Yo, just taking it one day at a time. You understand? Everyone inside quarantine, hopefully, staying safe, washing their hands properly. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Niceness.
And it's one set of Zoom party and virtual this and virtual carnival and.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that's the only way we could party now.
Correct. So we gotta do what we gotta do.
Yes. All right, for those out there that's now joining in, I see a couple people are trickling in right now in the chat. We're here with DJ Spice for Let's Talk Soca. So we're gonna have a little discussion with Spice, get to know him a little bit. He's very vibrant in the industry. He's out there. He's helping push soca music global. So Spice, let me jump into it now.
One time.
One time. All right. So for those out there that don't know, let's say that they're living under a rock or it's their first time, coming into the soca music industry and they just discovered soca. Who is DJ Spice? How did he get started in the soca music industry?
Well, let me start it off like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not even soca music industry. Let me start music industry.
Right.
So, a million years ago, right? My dad, he was a big Caribbean DJ in the industry, right? Doing weddings, doing parties, etc., concerts, So that was my role model. Living in a house with a DJ, you go pick up things.
Right.
And so that was that. And being that he used to do a lot of the weddings in the Brooklyn area, in the New York area, I grew up that same way. So I would be going to these events all while I was 4, 5, 6, you know what I'm saying? When I helped him set up and eventually going out and playing in people's weddings. You understand? If you go to my website, if you go to my personal website, spicinglife.com, you'll see a picture of MC Wasi, myself, and my dad.
Yeah.
So,
all right. I'm looking forward to that in a Throwback Tuesday.
Yeah. So, my whole thing was playing music, not just soca music. You understand? So, reggae music, hip-hop music, disco, Spanish, whatever. Whatever music you need to play in a wedding to move the people,
right?
That's what it was. You understand? So I started off with that, then eventually got into the radio thing, playing on 1190 AM. For those that know, in the New York area, that was one of the legendary radio stations that we had at the Caribbean community, right?
Right.
1190, and then I also played on 105.9 FM. Which is now Spanish, I believe. But
I think so, yeah.
Right, but before in those days it was soca and reggae, right? So I used to play in the evening every Monday through Friday. Meanwhile, I was going to Pace University studying computer science, right?
Wow.
So I would have one bag of books and one bag of records, right? No, I said records, not MP3,
not laptop, not CDs, records.
Records, heavy records. Right? So, bag of records, bag of books, going to school every day. Pace University. Shout out to my Pace University graduates. So, yeah, Monday through Friday. That was my thing. Then fast forward, I'm playing events with one of the legendary hip-hop DJs. Right? And reggae DJs. I just being the guy that's playing, mixing in my little soca, because I gotta represent the red, white, and black flag.
Of course.
Right? So, being that I was the only guy playing like the reggae and soca at those times, they gave me that name, Spice. You understand? So, It wasn't no Grenadian thing or Jamaican thing. It was just because I was playing Caribbean music. You understand? So, being that I knew at that time, I was one of the go-to guys for the reggae and the soca at that time, right? So,
Right.
I knew most of the top hip hop DJs. The I performed with like Run DMC, you name it, Funk Master Flex,
Some big names there,
you
boy.
know. So, in the hip hop industry.
Right.
Meanwhile, most of the guys in the soca reggae industry, I'm doing the show, so I perform with most of them. So I just said, let me do something to the culture, right? Because no one was doing anything. So
Right.
that's when I
And
came up. Hmm?
Spice, just remind us, at
Hmm.
which points in time did that happen? I guess in which era, which years did you make that decision?
Uh, Say about 2009, 2010.
Oh, so like 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah. I said I had to do something for the culture. You know what I mean? They they called me at those times the Soca King, right? So I said,
Right.
all right, since you're calling me the Soca King, and most of the times when I travel, I used to travel here and there before it became a fad.
Right.
As I go in England, Canada, Jamaica, all these different places, before everyone wanted to start traveling and stuff. So I said I gotta do something for my people. Not my Trini people alone, but West Indian people, Caribbean people. And
Right.
because I started along with my partner, DJ Muffman, the first underground radio station in New York, right? Playing
Right.
only reggae and soca, right? That was at that time was 95.1 or 95 point something, right? And he
Right.
used to be in his living room. You understand?
Right. Just
Yeah.
blazing up all day.
Right. So as I said, it was underground, right? Now the London people know about the underground radio station business, right? So we would come on in the evening, let's say about 8, 9 o'clock,
Mhm.
lock off, maybe about 1, 2 o'clock, and then play for the whole weekend straight Caribbean music, straight reggae, straight soca, until we eventually moved to a basement to bring in other DJs so that it won't be just us playing.
Right.
Then we came up with the Bashment 103. You all know what happened. Bashment 102 was the only station playing Caribbean music, so everybody used to listen.
Right.
So it's just things for the culture.
So in other words, you were driven because of your culture at the end of the day to represent and, bring that representation for soca, dancehall, and reggae music at the time. So Spice, in other words, you're one of the major pioneers in Caribbean music, right? And
Yes, sir.
I know just now you spoke about you got into DJing because of your dad, and he was doing a lot of weddings, and you were there from setting up to now playing at the weddings to then branching off and starting a professional DJ career.
Correct.
So my question is, with growing up with your dad and having that experience, in any way did you feel it was necessary to uphold his legacy?
At every point in time, every point is like I had no choice. You understand? He put me here, and I took what he taught me to elevate him having the one of the number one sound systems in Brooklyn, in New York. So that those days we would do like I'm doing parties with your moms. You understand? I'm doing boat
Right.
ride, circle line. You know, people in Brooklyn and New York wouldn't understand. You know, yeah, I
Yes.
playing parties with Jell mom.
Yes.
And now
Let me.
I'm playing parties with Jell. So,
Yeah.
so you
It, it
understand the grace.
It came full circle. For those who are now tuning in, we're here live with the international soca DJ, DJ Spice. He's telling us about how he got started.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go through the chat really quickly. I see it got really busy in the last two
Yeah,
minutes.
boy. Big up the
So
boss
large up
lady
everyone
yesterday.
that joined in. I see boss ladies here. Yes, the tables have turned, boy. Now I interviewing Spice. Could you imagine?
You understand?
Large up crew, large up the team from London locked in. And yes, Spice, you brought up a great fun fact. My mom used to throw a lot of parties, and that's kind of how I got started in the industry. But we will
That's
save
how it
that.
happens. You know,
Yeah,
the family lines and the family line, the music. So who will play the music? DJ
right.
Gel. You know what I'm saying? Playing. I started off playing with cassettes. You understand?
We and I wonder how many people in this chat remembers cassettes and records and
Mm-hmm.
even CDs now, because it seems
What's
like
that?
CDs have
Cassette.
gone obsolete.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. CDs are.
Yes. So for those locked in the chat, just a quick reminder, down below there's that question button. So if you have any questions for DJ Spice, we will pull it up on the screen very soon. Danielle, lodge up yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned, that you were going to school, right? You went to Pace University. You love your Pace University alum. So what was that balance like for you in school, balancing, your DJ career and your career as a student? Because I know a lot of DJs coming up now,
Mm-hmm.
because, West Indian parentingship and overall investment in yourself, a lot of them decide that, they're going to university, they're going to college, but they
Mm-hmm.
also want to DJ as well. How did you balance the both?
Well, in my father's name is Glenn Collins, right?
Right.
Glenn Collins. I'm Calvin Glenford Collins, right?
Right.
So in his house, education, and then you could do anything else. You understand? So it's simple as that. Big up Smarters. Once to all the upcoming DJs, entertainers, singers, whatever. Make sure you got your education so that when you get that pop, that big break, you'll know where to spend your money. You'll know to get that manager. You'll know to invest money here, there, and not just spend it, and then you end up like that artist that we heard about.
Oh Lord, wait. Lot of smarties in the chat.
You know what I mean?
The whole Team Soca family that's locked in right now as well.
It's like I've been from record to CD, being one of the first guys going in Brooklyn with a CD player in a party, where I would have to go early. Imagine going to a party and have to set up speakers and all that stuff, right?
I don't have
So
to
now,
imagine. I mean, I think a lot of DJs starting up, we've had that experience where we would have to go and do some of those things.
mm-hmm.
And I know for you in the wedding industry, that is a definite.
Yeah, well, there's the wedding industry, and then there's the Caribbean party scene back in the
Definitely.
day, where you would have to move a million speakers, the Tilden ballrooms, the Africa House, the etc. Where you have to move actual speakers. The places didn't have no equipment. So I came from an era where you had to set up everything. You had to go early. You had to go 12 o'clock in the day, set up the equipment, right? Fast forward, I was one of the first guys out there with a CD player in a party. So I would have to go to the party, set up my CD player, then I have to wait till the end of the party. And dudes were still playing records at those times, you understand?
Right.
I was one of the first guys going down Trinidad with a CD player in my book bag. It was like, yo, what the hell is this? You understand? Fast forward, we're using MP3s, we're using Serato, Tractor, you understand? So I have been blessed to be able to see the evolution of the music as far as that. But with that evolution comes everybody wants to be a DJ. You understand? And everybody gets that email. Yo, you can get an email. You can get a hard drive with all kinds of music. But the art, I would say it's an art of the DJ, is to make sure and understand from your experience to give to the people.
Right.
You know, it's not about you as a DJ, it's about the people. Satisfying the people.
Definitely. I would definitely agree that is like the number one role of a DJ. So that said, right, Spice, we know that it takes a lot to be a DJ, and we will get to that. I actually have a couple questions lined up for you regarding that. But first, to rewind just a little bit, because I know we have our Team Soca family in the building representing. You're responsible for the Team Soca brand. So tell us, how did that get started, and what was your inspiration behind creating it?
Right. So I'm a guy that draws a lot. Right. So I do computers. That's what I went to Pace University for. I do graphic design. So Team Soca is just the reinvention of DJ Spice.
Ah, okay. See that now, okay?
So when I used to travel, I used to have DJ Spice t-shirts, not Team Soca t-shirts. You understand? Promoting,
The
marketing my brand,
brand.
right? So I just took that same energy and flipped it into Team Soca. It was kind of easy because since I'm good with most of the soca singers, soca artists, soca bands, so I let them know. Like, I remember when I was first coming out, I had a meeting with Marshall and Chinese Laundry.
Some big names in the industry.
Yeah, I was
I
going to
said some big
DJ
names
for,
in the industry.
yeah, I was going to DJ for Marshall. He didn't have a signature DJ those days. You know, he just had the band and stuff.
Right.
I was going to play for him. It was a Miami Carnival. Never forget this. Miami Carnival. I go in. Then I was heading. Now it was raining, and I was heading down. I was in my rental going to one of Scorch parties or something. Then I get a call. Marshall. I say, hey, what's going on? Thing. I need you to come play for him in one of his shows. Right? Oh, that's nothing. Because I've been DJing for whoever, whenever. Because this is what I do.
Right.
You understand? So I went, we did one show. There was a more Indian crowd. With that show, then we had to do, you know, the rave. I think it was rave carnival Saturday night that they used to have.
Right. A
So,
signature event again.
Rain. You understand?
Yeah.
And man putting on best performance, you understand? So salute to Marshall Montano.
So tell us, just to hold you to that, what was that experience like working with the King of Soca, Marshall Montano?
What is the experience? Now, well, it's energy. You understand? I've worked with him on a number of occasions, and your energy got to be up there because you want to get back that same energy from the audience. You understand? So he is a real, when you say real entertainment, real entertainer, Marshall Montano. You understand? So yeah, no.
So in terms of,
that's why people say he's the king of soca.
right.
You understand?
All right. So you're coming up in the industry, right? And you've worked with Marshall. You've had your meeting with Chinese Laundry. And now you're trying to figure out, okay, things are going great, right? You work with all these people. How is it now that you reinvent yourself after experiences like that? Because I know one main challenge that a lot of entertainers have in the industry is reinventing themselves and reinventing the brand. How do you stay fresh and current in the market?
Well, the secrets of staying fresh and current, it's easier now with Instagram, Facebook. Back in the days, didn't have all that. So you had to be on the street, pushing flyers, you know what I mean? Going to events or DJing events and, you know, just socializing.
Right.
So, big up to the crew falling in. I see, you know, Tamara, Irie.
Large up Mavon as well. My whole Diego Martin, Trinidad and Tobago crew locked in.
Yeah, man.
If you're now joining in again, we're here with the International DJ Spice. Drop your questions in the question box and we will review it. So, that said, I know you're a hardworking man, right?
Boy,
and we see the heights that you've reached thus far in your career. But you know, behind a hardworking man, you also have a strong team behind you. So,
yeah, kind of sort of. They are right.
oh
They are.
God, where you, the Spice, they locked in. You
The
can't
team
say
are right.
that, you know.
The team are right. I could WhatsApp them right now. The team are right. You know,
All right,
everyone you see in this COVID pandemic is history making right now.
right.
You understand? So since I usually go to Trinidad for Carnival for like a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I came back about March 8th. I think I played, came back New York, went to Toronto to play a gig, came back, played Long Island, and then that was it. Full lockdown. Stay in your house.
Full stop.
Yeah, yeah. Full
That
stop.
is it.
So now, right, I'm not doing my 9 to 5 like I used to. Since I haven't, well, I used to have I used to have 9 to 5, right?
Okay, so hold up.
Yeah.
Tell us about the 9 to 5 because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't see. A lot of people see DJs as, you know, this is what we do full time.
No,
So
well,
for someone
some
who's,
DJs
some
that
people do
they
it.
only do, yeah, some people do it.
But for you, Spice,
Mm-hmm.
tell us what was that like having a 9 to 5 and being a soca DJ as well?
Well, 9 to 5 was 9 to 5, and then after 5 o'clock, I could do whatever else. So Friday evening, if I have to go to Toronto, if I have to go to England, and then Monday morning fly back to New York to go and do the people in the mall. You understand?
Wow, so that means basically every weekend you on a plane.
Yes, boy.
That's commendable.
On and off a plane.
Wow.
Take your
That
vitamins.
is,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's insane. But that is commendable, I
That's
must say.
that's the life. If you want to be DJ, you
You
know.
got to do what you have to do.
If you don't want to be DJ, stay home. Stay home and
That's
play
true.
your record,
That's
play a CD, play your MP3. But nah, it was, and all of that keeps me going.
right.
Just being able to go to another place and see how they react to music. You know what I mean? It's funny, every time that I'm supposed to go to Japan, something
Hmm.
happens. Like the last time I was supposed to go, they had a tsunami. This year I was supposed to go to Japan,
COVID.
bad COVID. Like, was really good.
I mean,
But
I was saying,
I'll go make it.
as soon as things open up,
Yeah, yeah,
Spice,
yeah, I
I
know.
personally think you will make it to Japan.
Yeah, not as soon as it open.
Well, as soon as the quote unquote vaccine comes.
I ain't even sure that vaccine. I'm gonna take my time.
Yeah.
We in phase 2, right?
Yes, New York
Uh,
City is in
yeah.
phase 2
New
as
York
of
City
right
is in
now.
phase 2. I'm in New York City right now, and I'm taking my time. I'm inside. I don't gotta rush because we now virtual. Why going outside?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fair enough. So
You see,
going
hold
back,
on. I got you. Do you see the numbers in Florida? Florida is now in
yeah,
the
boy.
epicenter.
Right.
All right, so
Yeah.
you guys in New York, you'll take your time. Take your time.
Fair enough. And to believe it or not, they still want to have Miami Carnival.
No, well, I don't know what they're planning. I know. Side note: I'm part of the New York Caribbean Carnival committee, right? So
Right.
we're still trying to put on something to. My whole thing is to build the morale of New York right now. You understand? Anything to build the morale of the people, we
Right.
need to do it. And as Caribbean people, as the West Indian American Day Carnival Association, we need to do something. You see that this Sunday, they're having the Gay Pride parade,
Yes.
right? So I'll be there taking my notes.
I think that's okay. So you mentioned Weodica, right? The West Indian American Day Carnival Association.
Correct.
Very long acronym.
Yeah.
But for those all you locked in that are unaware and are not necessarily from New York, because this is a global platform,
Yeah.
that is the group responsible for the New York City
Carnival.
Western American Labor Day Parade,
Labor Day
quote
Parade.
unquote, the New York Carnival.
Correct.
So DJ Spice is also, I think, 6 years new to the team. Correct me if I'm wrong,
With them,
please.
no, it's been a little longer. But
Okay, so
but now I'm a board member, so I help with whatever is needed for the community. I couldn't, there was a point in time where it wasn't looking good for them, but I can't be I can't be from New York and let that carnival fall. I'm
right,
traveling to all these other carnivals. You understand? So I'm from New York. So you gotta make sure your house good.
and that's very fair to say. So tell us, what is your role like on the committee?
My role is, of course, entertainment. My role is I try to be in as much things as I can to make sure that the overall atmosphere of the thing is good. People's participation, make sure that people are okay. You know, understand? Like before this COVID thing,
Mm.
my biggest thing, being that I travel to all these other carnivals, is the security of the masqueraders. You know,
Right.
like the stormers and thing. That was one of my biggest things. So now my biggest thing now is how we doing this thing virtual. You understand? So we working on some stuff. You see that most of the carnivals canceled for 2020.
Yes, I
Except
think the only ones
except
on board is
my
Jamaica,
well, Miami, Jamaica,
Miami's
and New York.
thus far, yes.
Yeah, thus
And
far.
some argue that Uber Soca Cruise is still on as well, from what I've seen this morning.
Yeah, well, yeah. So far, it's a
So
Uber
far.
kind of November. So far,
Okay, so
only
just to
the Lord
back
knows.
for real. To backpedal though, because
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned that, and I want you to clarify this, you mentioned that you saw New York Carnival kind of going down.
Mm-hmm.
Could you clarify what you meant by that statement? For
Like
those not familiar with
the
the
numbers,
situation.
right? The meaning, the numbers of the attendees to the events and that kind of thing. You understand?
Right.
I literally came back and spiced. My name is Spice. I came and spiced back up the thing. You understand? So now selling out the events before the door open. You understand? Getting people, the community back involved in the committee. You know?
Right. So, with the events, could you actually tell us what are some of these signature events that the committee is responsible for that weekend in New York?
So actually, they have programs that go on through the summer, like steel pan programs, making costume, that kind of thing. And then the big finale is Labor Day weekend. The Thursday, the reggae Afro beats show. Friday they have the kids concert during the day, and then Friday night is brass, of course, with all the big bands. Saturday is junior carnival with the kiddies carnival. Saturday night panorama, right? Sunday night, last year I started. It's usually the Damas Bra, right? The big
Right.
costumes and stuff. But last year I started an all white kind of, I would say Grenadian-ish. Like if you have ever been to Grenada for the all white events that they have down there, I kind of brought
Right.
that flavor on the Sunday night. And then Monday, of course, is the big grand parade on Eastern Parkway.
So it sounds like with your role in the committee, you again come into that juggling role, right? So you have Team Soca, you have DJ Spice the brand, you have your graphics, your branding, your marketing, and now you're an event planner. So I gotta say, again, very commendable, Spice.
Now, well,
So
once you're a Caribbean person or West Indian person, you have all kind of jobs. You're the chef, you're the gardener, you're the driver, the plumber. This is what we do.
that's true, and that's why there's no one out there like us.
Correct. You understand?
Right.
And then
So
let me flip it on you. Like, it's not just a Trini thing. It's not just a Grenadian thing. It's a Saint Lucia, Antigua, Saint Kitts Nevis. It's Barbados. We as the DJ, we have to make sure that we connected with all these aspects of the Caribbean.
And that's fair to say.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. In terms now, more than ever, as we, with more traveling and with social media and things being accessible, there has to be that unity there.
Must.
Yes. So I see that Boss Lady is locked in.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Big up to the
I know.
South, my boy President Reagan, Sound City. My boy Kuchi, Panama. Big up.
Yes. A lot of the crew from Grenada as well. Toronto crew locked in. Busby.
Big up.
So with such a strong brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know that you work really hard, but you also have a nice woman that behind you working just as hard as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Of
How
course.
important has your wife been
Mm-hmm.
during this journey?
How important? Well, she understands what what needs to be done. You understand? She understands what needs to be done, and we we uh we met in this industry.
Tell us about that. So, how are they bounce up each other?
Well, let me
Who
give you
make the
some
first
history,
move?
boy. Let me give you some history, right? So I I was I've been true fiance. I was married before. You understand? And her dad, I don't know if you know the legendary Holly Thomas.
I know
Oh, you
a
might
little
have
bit,
heard him if you
little
listen
bit.
to Baron CD. He has this
Yeah.
deep voice. Yeah, that's her dad, right? And her dad and my dad were friends. My dad passed away, unfortunately, in 2013, and her dad passed away in 2014. So, around meeting, I called her. I said, just to check up, after her dad passed away, I knew that they were close. And then we ended up bouncing up. I think it was in October for the breast cancer walk. And then the rest is history, bro.
Wow. Love in the
Guys,
soca industry.
guys, Soca and Love.
Soca and Love. That's a good book title, you know.
Yeah, well,
Spice.
the book coming soon. As soon as I figure out some stuff, some new stuff I want to do with Team Soca and my personal website, then I could pen
Go into the publication.
yeah. You just have to keep it fresh. That's just keep reinventing yourself. Like I'm on the internet every day, all day. You can check out DJ Gel mixes, the RL mixes, but yeah.
Again, a plug in the DJ Spice interview. I get you.
Boy. You
Yeah.
understand? And then juggling, I would have liked to have so many mixes out, but we're doing 3 million other things. You could only get maybe my little 20 or 50 mixes.
So, fun fact for those all there locked in, since I am a big DJ Spice fan. DJ Spice is one of my role models when I was growing up in the industry. So I actually listened to a lot of DJ Spice mixes on Podomatic and all those other sites that probably don't exist anymore. And that's kind of how I got my footing in the industry. But you mentioned online, right? And with the launch of Team Soca, it's a New York, well, correction. The Team Soca radio station is headquartered in New York, but it has DJs from all over the world.
Well, I wouldn't say it's headquartered in New York because it's a New York brand, but I wouldn't say it's headquartered in New York because of the technology, the way how it.
Right.
So,
but it is an international station.
Yeah.
So with you,
I've been watching like the listenership is crazy.
And that's where I'm headed. So with the listenership, right, and with it being an international radio station that plays soca 100% of the time, what has the reception been like, in the Mecca of soca, Trinidad and Tobago?
No, well, they had to play catch up.
Tell us what you mean by that.
When I say they had to play catch up, the main reason, right, is because of Trinidad team so was building. When let me go back to history with the same underground radio stations, right? When we had the Bashment radio, we're doing Bashment first started with reggae and soca, right?
Right.
Then we switched. There was a year we did. Remember like how Trinidad does it, soca switch. There was a year that we did a soca switch, and we said, nah, you know what? You can just stay on soca, and that was that. Then fast forward, Iowa started 91.9 in Trinidad, right? Which was only soca. And he brought me down to a system with putting together like the computers and music and different things. Right? So big up to the boss, Iowa George, my brother. And 91 lasted a little bit with just being strictly soca, but it's Trinidad, and at the time, unless you market it correctly, the people won't catch on. So the people didn't really catch on, so he ended up changing it to an urban format. So that when I say urban, he's playing hip hop. Well, not hip hop, just everything else.
All kind of thing.
All kind of thing.
Everything mixed up.
So I was like, when that change happened, I was like, yo, I gotta do something for my people. You understand?
Right.
I went, I did on the computer, I said, what am I gonna do? Now, fun fact, my dad wasn't only a DJ. You know, he used to work at Channel 2 CBS in New York, TV station, right? I used to work there in the computer department as well. You understand? And it's like, I said, I need to do something for the people. I need to do something for the culture, right? He used to be a coach for a soccer team called Team Carib. He used to travel all the Caribbean islands playing soccer. I would go with them, different islands. St. Martin was a popular place he used to go. And I would also collect my music. So I was like around these soccer players, so I was like, team, right? Their thing was Team Carib. So
right.
I ain't gonna call it Team Spice because unfortunately, they're haters out there. It is what it is.
Right.
Is what it is. So the Team Spice wouldn't have that. So I said, you know what? Soca. Need to push Soca. Team Soca. That is it. Team Soca. Went and at that point in time, Twitter, it was Facebook, copyright, thing, make sure everything's good. And that was the birth of Team Soca, right? So that was the circle. At that point in time, I was working, now y'all getting real history here. I was working for one of Bill Gates' companies, Corbis, which is an image company. So like, there's Getty Images, and then there's Corbis. I think Getty ended up buying Corbis around. So anyway, I'm there at my desk, right? And I'm designing. And when I do logos, right? And I told you I reinvented DJ Spice into Team Soca, right? So if you know DJ Spice is a big S with DJ Spice in the middle with a circle, right? So my marketing is when you see my logo, you need to be able to see it from far, right? So I'm coming from a generation of playing on Chinese Laundry Truck in Trinidad, and on Chinese Laundry Truck in Trinidad, it said Chinese Laundry in black and white. You could see that from like across the savannah.
Miles away, yes.
Miles away. You understand? So that was the same thing with my logo. When you see the big S and you see the DJ Spice, you can see it miles away. So I wanted people to be able to see the Team Soca. Well, not even this logo. I wanted people to be able to see the Team Soca, right?
Right.
So when I first did it, I did it with a circle, right? And a big T and a big S, right? And then I put teamsoca.com below it, right? So that was the first logo. That's the logo that I kept for the app, the Team Soca app. Right? So then I was like, but you can't see the Team Soca in the logo. You know
Right.
what I mean? So I was like, how do we design it? So, big up King Swati, I am Soca family.
Yes, large up Swati, large up the Soca and
Soca Exchange.
Champagne
Yeah man. Soca and Champagne, big up.
crew in the chat.
So again a little design. Again I'm a little design history here, Swati. So
Yes, so Spice actually has a background in design
mm,
as one of his many hidden talents. So he's telling us the history of his logo for those of all that are now tuning in.
the history of Team Soca, the design, them kind of thing. So the original logo, I found that I couldn't see the logo like how you see in you see in Team Soca here, you see in Live Love Soca. I couldn't see
Right.
the teamsoca.com. So I was like, you know what? Scribbling. Like I have a Dropbox with different designs linked to my phone. So I would design, put in my Dropbox, design, and if you notice, it's the original Soca and the team, and I just put the star in the A. You understand? So that's a little history of how it came about, and then the rest is history. After I designed this, it was hats, it was T-shirts. Everybody started doing T-shirts and hats. I even made Marshall change. He had a contract with New Era. You remember Marshall had a contract with New Era
Yes.
with the hats, right?
Yes.
Right. And then he's using these kind of hats, snapbacks. So they say Jay-Z made the Yankee hat popular, right? I can safely say that I made these snapbacks popular.
Right. And I see Kristen here says, that's the strength of having a strong brand as well.
Mm-hmm.
So large up to you on that, Spice.
That
Large
one,
up
it was,
to
it's hard. It's not. It may look glamorous, but it was hard. Pong any pavement, pong. You had to pong the pavement with anything. You see, like DJ Gel, pong the pavement. Mixes. See the kind of numbers you fill out with mixes of it. And some. You understand? Good music, good production. People would always respect you. You understand?
Nice. And to that point, I think that's really good advice for a lot of the DJs and entertainers and people in the industry coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just gave us the rundown of the logo and the design elements because you're very skilled in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
For DJs coming up, such as myself and even younger than me,
Mm-hmm.
what advice would you give them now that they're entering the soca industry in this time of the technological and digital age that we're in?
I would give the advice. I would give the advice to DJ Gel. I would give the advice to Live Love Soca is to make sure that your audience knows if you are the soca person, right? Soca representative, soca king. Make sure that you let your audience know what calypso and soca really is, the history. You understand? Because they're gonna know the nowadays music, but you need to know where it came from.
Right.
Like I can safely say that I got. If you play soca music, you have one of my files in your computer.
Hands down. I could tell you that
You,
just by
you,
going into the laptop.
you understand? So it's like just know the history of the music. Whether you travel, well, you don't even need to travel. Nowadays, you don't need to go to these islands to get music. You understand? You could just make a phone call. Yo, what's going on down? But being a DJ and a good DJ, you would want to go to Grenada. You would want to go to Trinidad. You would want to go to Barbados to experience it. You understand? That's the difference with a good DJ. So that
Right.
yeah, because it's a totally different experience. When you go Trinidad, you know how it is on the road. You know how it is Juve morning. You know how it is Monday and Tuesday on the road. You experience that. So you're able to give that energy to the rest of the world. When you go to Jamaica, when you go to Grenada and play a jam, that would be my advice. Just to know your history. If you're a DJ, you could be hip hop DJ, you could be Spanish DJ. Just know your history. Just
No,
know
the
your
history of
history.
the music.
You understand? Because I know there's a lot of people out there, a lot of DJs, new DJs. Their partner's a DJ, they got copy. Well, let me go and copy. Yeah, drive and I a DJ too. Let me go and get a MacBook. And I a DJ too, you know. And I charge him whatever just to play in your party. But no, just do a little history research, you know, because it is an art form. You know, this jockeying is an art form. You wanna, if you're involved in this art form, like, let me take a DJ Puffy. You know, he did his homework, went to Scratch Academy, and won the championship of the Red Bull.
Right.
You understand? So, just do, there's benefits.
All right. And I think that's pretty solid advice for a lot of the DJs locked in.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the younger ones especially that will probably rewatch this a little later. So you mentioned, the experience, right? Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, Grenada, playing a job.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this. In all your travels across the globe, what was your most surprising reaction to soca music? Because I know you represent all over.
The most surprising, well, I would say might have been the first time I went to Berlin.
How so?
Because I've never been there. I was at that point in time I've never been there, and then I'm seeing all these Caucasian people getting on better than me for the music. You understand? I was like, whoa. You understand? And that gave me energy
Right.
to give them back
Pause,
energy.
raise. I said pause, raise when you saw it, right?
Yeah, definitely. I was like, damn, okay. And that it takes me back. That took me back to the first time when I went to England. You understand? And meeting Soca Twins and meeting the Tates and all the regular guys out in London. Big up to my London family. The UK Soca scene, you understand? Soca Scene magazine. You know, it took me back. Yeah, Berlin, I would say. Berlin. I was like, wow, okay. Cool.
All right, so they'll lodge up the Berlin crew
Berlin,
locked in as well.
right, Berlin. Because
If you
the
guys
thing
have a
with,
chance, Spice says you have to go out and experience Berlin Carnival.
yeah, Berlin, London. Well, I rate London the second to Trinidad in Carnival.
How come?
Because of the energy of the people. It's wonderful. It's the same. I would say I've been to Panorama and I went willingly to Panorama in England. You know what I mean? Like, a next side note, my grandfather is the creator of Trinidad also. Neville Jules that just passed away.
Yes.
Right? So I've been in Pan all my life. And being that I'm going to England and seeing these people like, and it's not just black people, it's not white people, it's all kind of people. And they're embracing the culture. Not just Trinis, not just people from Grenada, not, it's everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody. And they're embracing it. And it was dope, yo. It was a vibe. Could ask boss lady. Took her out there. You know what it is. I could safely say I've taken many people out there to England and let them, and they were like, oh, wow. London is dope.
So,
and then my next home is Toronto.
One of my favorite places as well. But
mm-hmm.
just because you mentioned something really important there. You said that you brought a lot of people out to London.
Mm-hmm.
And even it's clear from the chart as well that, Spice, you have a lot of support. You have a lot of people that you've built relationships with. So tell us and tell the audience that's locked in, like, how important is it to have a strong network of people in this industry?
Well, in this industry, in any industry, the people that are out there, you want to be able to, if you are DJ Gel and you have all your mixes on your website, you want to be able to say or see what the people, how the people vibing to your stuff. You understand? You can see how much thousand people watch your thing or listen to your thing or download your mixes, right? But you also want to
Right.
be able to be in touch with the industry, the DJs, the DJs that are out there, the Young Charles, the Rigo, the Kevin Crown, you understand, the Back to Basics, you understand, the Dr. J's, the DJ Tates, and the list goes on and on. You want to
Right.
know what the vibe is out there, you know, what a Kurt Riley is doing down in Jamaica, you know. It's just like, because once you know what the vibe is out there, then you could check yourself and be like, oh, okay, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. All right, this is what DJ Gel is gonna do. He's gonna be the best DJ Gel. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in a time with, I mentioned Young Chow, but I grew up in a time with King Chow, playing parties with King Chow.
It's that.
You understand? Playing parties with Madman Matty. And now I'm playing parties with the kids. So, as my boy GB God bless reminded me, I'm like in the middle.
Right. In between the two generations of DJs.
Mm-hmm. You understand? So, once I don't let the gray show that much, you know what I mean? Once I don't let the gray show, it's all gravy. I could go in a party with DJ Gel.
I mean, to be honest, we played a lot of parties together too. I mean, Spice, you are a boss, and just through this interview, you've achieved so much already, right? I'm curious to know, and the people at Love Soca, and by extension the world, we would love to know what's next.
Oh, what's next?
Yes.
Well, keep it locked to teamsoca.com, right? Because I've done some facelift, still working on some stuff. I'm actually attending a YouTube University every night. You know, with this whole COVID thing, everyone's sleeping pattern. I'll be up all 4 or 5 o'clock instead of going to a party. Online, learning, testing different programs and so on. What is it? We're great with elegance. Nah, I ain't ready for that yet. I ain't about that life. I ain't about that great life. Alright? But yeah, just evolving. Team Soca is a brand, right? A clothing brand. It's a radio station. So with a clothing brand, you have to keep evolving, coming up with different designs. Just as Live Love Soca, different stuff. You understand? You see right now, I'm sporting the Team Soca varsity line, and it's the original black and white. So you just gotta keep. If you're a brand, you gotta keep it fresh. People, especially in this day and age, with the Instagram, the Facebook, the YouTube, the Twitch, you gotta keep it hot. You would notice that right now, I'm rocking a new DJ Spice logo. Right? Before that was the historical, chromed out 3D Spice, DJ Spice and Circle. But, I had to spice it up. I couldn't. And then a lot of people started to copy the logo. You know what I mean? And with me designing it myself, I kind of started to feel away. But as people tell me, people copy your stuff because it's good.
It's dope.
They ain't gonna copy it, they think if it's crap. So I'm like, okay. So you gotta keep evolving. Keep reinventing yourself, DJ Gel, you got all your mixes on your website. What's next? You understand?
Right.
You just gotta keep on it. You know, that's the best
And
advice.
and that is the $1 million advice right there. I think that's
Just
been the whole theme of this
stay
interview. We've
on it.
seen Spice reinvent himself from going from his dad to the weddings to then going on radio to working with Marshall to starting his own radio station. Everything has come full circle for Spice, and us at Live Love Soca, and by extension the whole Soca community, we're excited to see what's next. So for those out there in the chat who may be new to Soca or Soca music or Soca culture in general, where can they find DJ Spice online?
They can find DJ Spice online at teamsoca.com every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday from 10 a.m. to 12, right? They can find me at Instagram at DJ Spice NYC. You understand?
And it's linked below as well, so make sure you go and follow DJ Spice.
You can check out the new website, spiceinyourlife.com, my personal website, right? Still working on it. Then I'm learning right now to do it myself. Before I had my webmasters, big up Ike, wherever you did. So we have time. We home.
Definitely, and there's so much learning to go on.
Right.
But so in terms of Team Soca, if someone wants to purchase merch or to listen to the radio station, where do they go?
TeamSoca.com. You make it simple, easy. Oh, what you need? You need Soca? TeamSoca.com. 2 o'clock in the morning, you need Soca? TeamSoca.com. You need clothes? TeamSoca.com. Shop. You need it easier than that? Shop.teamsoca.com.
Vibes.
You understand?
Honest.
You need Live Love Soca. Live Love Soca.
LoveSoca.com.
Yo,
all right,
my brother.
lodge up Rupee.
Look, it's so funny. You understand? My brother just stepped in the building. The original Rupee. You understand? The original sample. The original sample of DJ Spice. You understand?
Yes.
After
Rupee,
that,
lodge up yourself wherever you stay. Another big pioneer in Soca as well. DJ Spice, we actually have about 15 seconds left. So
it's been a pleasure. You understand?
Thank you for coming on.
It's been a pleasure. Big up to my Live Love Soca family, the Soca Analysts. You all keep doing your thing. Keep pushing Soca music, Calypso music. You remember what I said? Make sure the people understand the history. You understand?
Right.
Because you have to understand the history to know where we're going.
To know where you're going.
To take this to the next level. The next level is making sure that everybody understand our thing. You understand? They know it.
Exactly.
But when Rihanna or one of them sing a tune with Rupee, then they go really know it. You dig? So,
exactly.
Enough respect, family. Big up.
Yes. Much thanks
family,
for your time.
All the family inside Team Soca family, Real Rupee. Big up. Live Love Soca family. Big up. Boss Lady. Big up. Everybody. Big up. DJ Del, big up yourself.
Much thanks, Spice. All their bless up and stay safe.